G'day guys and welcome to Red Leader 1. Today we're going to have a look at Hasbro's new X-Wing for the Rise of Skywalker. This is Poe Dameron's new X-Wing, T-70 Resistance Fighter. And first off, I have to let you know that I absolutely love the look at this. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. The Vintage Collection box looks fantastic, so looking forward to it. Now you would have seen my comments yesterday about what I was worried about. That's the only issue I have with this X-Wing that I'm just a little bit concerned about. And we'll go through some other images which you can see here with the movie line X-Wings that were released in The Force Awakens, and we have the Vintage Collection T65 X-Wing which was released a few years ago, and we'll just compare the sizes and I'll tell you guys what I'm a little bit worried about. So we'll have a closer look. Now we do know this time round Hasbro are only releasing the Vintage Collection line and the Black Series line. They've got rid of the movie line, which I think is a great move by Hasbro. That line was absolutely terrible. The 5 points of articulation and the really cheap version of the vehicles were really bad. Now I'm glad they're focusing on the Vintage Collection, and with that we should be getting decent figures and decent vehicles, which I'm really happy about. Now this new Poe Dameron's X-Wing for the Rise of Skywalker as part of the new Vintage Collection looks fantastic. It's really good and I love it. It looks like it's got weathering. They've added landing gear at the back. They've really gone into detail with this vehicle this time round, and that's what we expect with the Vintage Collection. But the only issue I have with this, and it's probably only a minor one, and it's not going to prevent me from buying this, I am definitely going to spend money on this, is just the size of it, the length of it. I'm a little bit worried if this is not going to be in scale with the original trilogy T65 X-Wings. We know they're a different model, but I'm pretty sure that in real life these X-Wings would be still the same size. But we'll compare them with the movie line vehicles that were released in The Force Awakens. And just remember the pilot inside, Poe Dameron sitting inside this cockpit here, and just compare it with the new Vintage Collection Poe Dameron's X-Wing. And I'm just a little bit worried that the size, they've gone off the same size as the movie line X-Wings, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. Now we do remember the TFA X-Wings when they were released, how disappointing people were, especially when you pay nearly $100 for these, and when you pull them out the box, you had floppy wings, you had the cannons which were all bent out of shape, and you couldn't even fit Poe Dameron in the cockpit properly. That was a big disappointment. Then they released the another version of the Resistance X-Wing, and it was a lot better, but the same issue with the pilot in the cockpit, and just the size of the X-Wing is a little bit disappointing. Then we have a look at the earlier T65 X-Wings that we got in the past. Now these were fantastic. They were large. Your figure could actually fit in the cockpit. They were fantastic. They did have the droopy wings, but I don't think that was an issue. I think the best T65 X-Wings were the Vintage Collection, and even when the new design came out for the Trench Run X-Wing, Red 5 was pretty good. So if you compare the sizes, I think what Hasbro have done, they've used the same scale as the movie line X-Wing for the Force Awakens, but they've done a really good job at adding all the additions to it, which all collectors would expect for the Vintage Collection line. But I'm just a little bit worried about the size of it. It looks like the nose cone area needs to be longer. It needs to come out a bit. I think they've shortened it a bit too much. But apart from that, it looks fantastic. So remember how I said compare the pilot, Poe Dameron here, to the cockpit? That's why I'm a little bit worried about the size difference. We know the height of the X-Wings are different because of the landing gear added to the new one. But just look at the I think it's the same scale. I think they've used the same scale. instead when they should have actually used the scale of the earlier X-Wings we got. So that's what I'm a little bit worried about. Obviously, let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what's your thoughts on it. I love it. It looks good, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I just got to hopefully find it in Australia. Now, I've reached out to some of the main stores here in Australia in the past, and they did say they are going to be stocking the new movie Star Wars toys. I just reached out to Kmart the other day, and I got a reply, and they did say they will be stocking a range of the new Star Wars gear. So it's got me worried there as well that we might not see any of this in Australian stores, and the only way you'll be able to purchase these is online, and we know what happens with online stuff. You're going to be paying a lot more money in the hip pocket for these, which is very sad, but I'm going to find a way to get this. I will find a way. Don't underestimate my power. I will find it. So, but there you go, guys. Like I said, the only thing I'm worried about is just the size of it. Apart from that, it looks fantastic. I love the box art. I just love the vintage collection. It's so awesome. Now, with this being released, I'm wondering what other vehicles we might be getting in the vintage collection, especially on the First Order side. Are we going to get that new Kylo Ren looking TIE Interceptor? Probably more than likely. Are we going to get some B-Wings, new B-Wings released? Hopefully, if they release the B-Wings again and the Y-Wings, I wonder if we'll get them in... depending on what they look like in the movie, what design, what squadrons they're with, new paintings, new markings on them and stuff like that. So, but there you go, guys. That's it for this video. Like I said, drop a comment down below. Let me know what's your thoughts on the new vintage collection Poe Dameron's X-Wing for the Rise of Skywalker, which I'm looking forward to in December. Looks good. I like it. Just a little bit worried about the size, but we'll have to wait until it gets released and we can have a better look at it. So, alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a comment down below, hit that like button, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Until next time, may the Force be with you always.